are multiplying polynomials, point to the trinomial box above it. All right, underneath that box, if you have space, we're going to make some little notes. So we're going to make some notes around the multiplying polynomials area, wherever you have room. You feel me? Okay, so when we are multiplying polynomials, I'm going all caps, Emmy. Exponents, what do you think I'm going to say?
Matter.
Exponent laws matter. I'm going to say apply. All caps. That's what makes multiplying polynomials a little trickier, because we have to apply our exponent laws. But what's the only exponent law we really have to pay attention to?
Multiplication.
The multiplication one. So multiplication is when we multiply, it's repeated addition. So what do we do with our exponents? We add the exponents. Wherever you have room, put that somewhat around. So really, when we're multiplying polynomials, we only have to remember one exponent law, and that's our coefficients are treated as they normally are. We multiply them as we normally would. Exponents are added because the basis of multiplication is repeated addition. Alrighty, much like adding and subtracting, there's two different ways to multiply polynomials. It is not going to matter to me which one you use. Your brain's going to pick a preference. Yeah. So we're going to practice both of them today, and I'll probably make you practice both of them tomorrow. And nope, we won't be here tomorrow. You can practice both of them tomorrow if you feel inclined. Tuesday, I will make you practice both, and then I'll let you have free reign over which your preference is. Alrighty, so the first one we're going to look at, I'm going to switch to purple. So we have 3x squared plus 4, and then we have 4x minus 3. So I have two what? Two binomials. So I have two expressions, and each of them are binomials. So I'm multiplying two binomials. So this first method, I think most of you will prefer, it's going to be the box method. So I'm going to put, it doesn't matter which one goes where. I'm just going to keep the term together. Does that make sense? The expression. So I'll put that one on the top. I'm going to say 3x squared plus 4. The sign is always going to stay with that second number. And then on this side, I'm going to put 4x minus 3. So that minus is going to go with the 3 and make it a negative. It doesn't matter which order you put them in, just as long as the things in parentheses stay together. Alright, so I'm going to multiply my coefficients like normal whole numbers they are, and then I'm going to add my bases. Add my exponents. But what is something that doesn't have an exponent?
Oh, we haven't negative.
No. What if something doesn't have an exponent? The 4x doesn't have an exponent.
Oh, then it should be like a separate term on its own.
It would just be a what?
Separate term on its
A
own.
1.
Oh, 1.
So anytime I'm multiplying polynomials, I want to go ahead and add that exponent of 1 so I can see visually that it's not 2 plus nothing, it's 2 plus 1. Alright, so the box helps me keep my things. 3 times 4 is? 12. And then x1 plus x2
Is
x to the third, x cubed. And then I'm going to say 3x squared times negative 3, so I'm going to multiply coefficients. 3 times negative 3, negative 9. What happens if one has a base and one doesn't? I just bring it down. I just keep that base with it. So I'm just going to bring down the x squared with it. Okay. Over here I'm going to say 4x times 4, so 4 times 4 is 16. And what do I do about the variable? I just bring it over. Now I just have two constants. I have -3 times +4. -12. So what do we do with these?
feel like you would combine them.
Okay, so these 4 terms are my answer. So what I want to do is I want to write them in a strand and then look for my like terms. How do I know which term comes first?
Because with exponent.
The one to the highest degree. So the one with the largest exponent is going to come first, which would be
12x.
So I got 12x cubed. That's my largest exponent, so it's going to be the degree of my term. What would come next?
Minus 9x squared.
Minus 9x squared plus 16x
Minus 12.
Okay. So this goes beyond a trinomial, so it would just be classified as a polynomial. Are there any like terms to combine?
No.
What classifies things as a like term?
They have the same base and power.
Same base and power. Do any of these, they have the same base, but are those bases to the same power? No. So this has no like terms. I would leave it as this. So when I multiply 3x squared plus 4 times 4x minus 3, my product is 12x cubed minus 9x squared plus 16x minus 12. I'll just leave it at that. That's it. Ready to see the second way? Okay. On the next one, we're going to use the exact same numbers just so you can see that it's going to work out to the same thing. Oh my gosh.
They're so loud.
Earlier it worked perfect because I said something and out in the hallway they were like, I know! And I was like, even they know! Okay. The second method is called the FOIL method. FOIL is an acronym to list out the steps. Like GEMS is an acronym, grouping, exponents, multiply, divide. FOIL is an acronym telling me the steps. So what I want to do is draw a line right there. Alright. F stands for first. Sorry, let's go ahead and write the expression. So over here, I have 3x squared. I'm using the same numbers. Plus 4, and then 4x minus 3. Alright, so if I have first, what do you think the O would stand for? Outer. First outer. First outer. Inner. First outside inner. Last. FOIL. I don't know what it means either. Awkward. I don't know if I can't finish the lesson. Alright, so first, what that means is I'm going to take this first term and multiply it to that first term. Okay, and I'm listing out what I'm multiplying with the first. You don't have to do that step when you're working it. That's for your notes so you know what that first was going to. Okay, so 3 times 4, 12. That has an exponent of 1, so x squared plus x to the first is 3. X cubed. Okay, so that's my first. Now I'm going to take this term and go to the outer number. So I have 3x squared times -3. So -3 times 3 is? -9. And the x squared is going to hang along for the ride. So I've taken that first and distributed to the second term. So now I'm going to take my inner one. I'm going to say 4 times 4x. 4 times 4 is 16. The x hangs along for the ride. Oh, sorry, I gotta... Sorry, I'm listing the steps. Alright, and then last, I need to multiply this 4 times the last term of -3, which gives me -12. The box is a more visual process, and my FOIL is more for my number sensey, not so much FOIL or boxers. I'm going to switch this between both today, and I'm going to get you comfortable with both, and then you will have a preference.
When's our next? I don't know. I'm still not FOIL.
28th of January. Your next test is 28th of January.
Wednesday, right?
So here's the game plan. We're learning multiplying binomials today. You're off Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Tuesday we're going to practice multiplying polynomials some more. Wednesday we'll mix the operations. We'll mix adding, subtracting, and multiplying, so your brain has to differentiate, because that's when it gets a little bit more challenging. Thursday we're going to mix them up. Monday we'll review. Honestly, we probably test them on Monday, because we get to review them next week. I kind of want to test them on Monday. And then the 28th is the test over exponent laws, add, subtract polynomials, multiply polynomials.
Okay, so it's about 2 weeks?
Ish, yeah. One.
Exponents over those two?
Yep.
I'm gonna force myself to do IXLs.
Those IXLs have already been posted. So exponent IXLs have already been posted.
Why am I this weekend?
Alright, let's practice this. I gotta practice the color for you. I'm gonna work with you through it for a few of them. You're so welcome. Yes. It's in your calendar. Is it in your calendar? Yes, it is. Okay. Is it your mom's calendar? Is it in your dad's calendar?
My dad's calendar. My mom does.
Is it in the school calendar?
She does it a lot.
It's in my brother's calendar too.
I was gonna ask that next. Is it in Jaden's? Alright, let me pull this page up.
The other day I wrote 24.
I think yesterday was the first day I actually had to write the dates on something. Okie dokie. Also, Skyward is still working on being fixed, so we'll see when it's fixed. I will put your grades in. Ready, Sketty? So I'm not doing my job. I'm just waiting for someone else to do their job so I can do my job. Thank you, thank you. Alright, so does it matter where I place the terms along the top and the side? No, because multiplication is commutative, meaning I can multiply in any order and still get the same answer. What's something I need to place? So I can make a coefficient of 1. Is there anything else I can place?
Exponent of 1.
Exponent of 1. Alright, so when I'm multiplying, coefficients multiply like regular, so 1 times 1 is
1.
However, exponents, I add them. So x1 plus x1, x squared. Then I want to say 1x times 7, so 1 times 7, 7, and then the x hangs along for the ride. And I can bring down the 1. 1x times 3, 3 times 1 is 3, the x to the first power hangs along for the ride. And then 3 times 7. So now I want to do what?
You gotta write it out.
I gotta write it out. With what? What first? My highest degree first. So I got 1x squared plus 7x plus 3x plus 21. Look at that 2. I like it. What do you notice? There's like terms. What are my like terms?
7x and 3x.
Okay, so let's go ahead and combine them. So when I multiply the binomial expressions, x plus 3 times x plus 7, my product is going to be x squared plus 10x squared, nope, x squared plus 10x plus 21. Yes? Alrighty. It's not so crazy, is it? Usually your like terms are going to be in those two boxes right there. That's where your like terms are usually going to fall. Onward we march. But this time we're going to do it with foil, which has been added to my grocery pickup because I ran out of aluminum foil at my house. It's very bad to make a baked potato the other night. Alrighty. F means first, so I'm going to multiply this first term to that first term. x1 plus x1, or times, would give me x squared. So I did first, now I have to do outer. Alright, x1 times negative 9. Negative 9x. Now I do 6, now inside. So 6 times x to the first power plus 6x. And then L is last. 6 times negative 9. What do you notice? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you positive?
Yes.
Okay. Negative 9 plus 6.
Negative 3x.
So, the product of x plus 6 times x minus 9 is x squared minus 3x minus 54? Yep. How do you feel?
Great.
I feel like both work perfectly.
What do you prefer so far?
I prefer foil.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it just seems easier to understand. Like you're basically kind of distributing.
It is. No, it is. It's double distribution.
So.
No, because then when it says inner, you would assume you multiply that one by that one, but then no.
You did it.
We don't the same way.
It makes sense.
Okay? So, the beautiful thing about math is we can work them differently sometimes and come to the same conclusion. Alright, so this one, let's go 3x plus 3, 2x plus 9. Earlier I flipped it on them, they're like, oh my gosh, you wrote it the other way. So, I'll just stick to basics. Alright, what can I add before I solve? Power of 1.
Yeah, power of 1.
Alright, so now when I multiply, I'm just multiplying my coefficients. 3 times 2? X1 times x1? X squared. Do y'all agree?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
The two people who answered are the only people agreeing with themselves. Alright, now let's go 3x times 9. So I have 3 times 9 giving me
27.
And then x1 just hangs along for the ride. What about 2x times 3? 6x. 9 times 3? What do? I gotta write it out. With the highest degree first. Is that a what? Okay. 27x plus 6x plus 27.
I don't think we have any like that. Oh, wait, yes we do. Added that extra 1.
Yeah, we added a 1 here, not a 1 here, so they didn't look the same, but are they?
Yeah.
Yep, so I'm going to end up with 6x squared plus 33x plus
27.
Bazinga. 27, hanging on tight. Yeah. Uno más with me? What do you think that means? You're going to see this one a lot, and that's why I'm doing it with you. So if I have 3a minus a to the second power. What do you think that's going to look like?
Multiplying it by itself.
Multiplying it by itself. So the expanded form of this, because you will have problems like this and it will trick your little brains. So if I have 3a minus a to the second power, I'm saying 3a minus a times itself. So 3a minus 8 times 3a minus 8. So I need to know that if I have a binomial squared, I'm multiplying it by itself. I need to know how to write that out in expanded form.
Oh, that makes sense because
for the Royals too.
Yes.
That makes sense because it's like split.
Yeah.
So if it were, if the outside there was like, if it was cubed, would you do 3?
You would do 3. Now we're gonna FOIL this one.
Yay.
Haley, do you have a question?
If you did 3, then how would you do it in a box?
You would make
Another box.
you do like that.
Like the box.
See, look how convenient it is. So the box depends on how many.
Yes, your size of your box is going to depend on how many numbers you have. So next week we'll look at like some trinomials times binomials, but most of the time you're going to have binomial times binomial. Ready, Sketty?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to FOIL the kind you can't buy at Walmart. So F means first, so I got 3a times 3a to give me
9a.
9a squared. First, second, outer.
So it'd be 3a times -8.
3a times -8, so 3 times -8 is?
Negative. No, negative.
Wait.
Well,
I thought you said -3.
Oh, 3 times -8 is -24.
Yeah.
The a hangs along for the ride.
And then negative 8 times 3a.
So Emmy told me inner, which would be -8 times 3a to give me -24a. And L meaning last. -8 times -8 to give me. Are there like terms?
Yes.
What's it equal?
48a.
Not 0?
Negative. It's negative 48.
Wait. Is it
Oh
0?
yeah, it is. No, because they're both negative.
They're both negative.
It's
Always take the time to solve it out because a lot of the time on warm-ups, on tests, your brains are so focused on seeing 24, 24, you're like, oh, they cancel out. Boom, it's 0. No! Negative and a negative make a -48. Until you agreed with me. I planted a seed of doubt and you took it. You reaped what I sowed. Alright. I don't want to do the fraction one if that's okay with y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
First period was like, no, can we do the
But
fraction?
then what if we get to it and we get confused? Don't know how to do it.
I mean, it's just multiplying fractions.
okay.
We can start with it Tuesday, Emmeline. I'll dedicate it to you on Tuesday.
Okey-dokey.
Alrighty. So, whatever your preference is, I'm going to hold your pencil in the air. Like you just don't care, but most of you do. Alright. When I say go, you're going to work that one with your person. You can do this a myriad of ways. If you both like box method, y'all can box it together. If you both like FOIL, you can FOIL together.
And they can do all.
If Emmeline loves FOIL and Gilbert loves boxing, they can do different ways and then at the end make sure they came together and got the same thing. You feel me? So talk with your person and go ahead and work this one out.
I want to do it. You like walking?
Do you want to go with Amy? Amy, partner incoming.
Would you like that to box?
What does your soul desire?
Yeah. Which do you find easier?
Okay, we're not fighting. We're not boxing.
I guess we're doing FOIL. First, outer, inner.
Okay, I did the wrong one. Okay.
Okay. Read it out. Rewrite it down for us.
So that is 2
So you're
right?
gonna do
2x4.
2x squared. Take negative 10x squared 2x4. And then you're gonna do 7. Wait, no, not 7. 2x squared 5x. 2 gets
Five.
Yeah, just take all the out.
negative 30x.
We have
Be
letters.
patient, okay?
So then
It takes a virtue.
2x. Guys, what like terms are y'all talking about? 2x4.
No, wait, what like terms are you talking
Oh
about?
yeah, never mind. Okay, good. I didn't see the square.
So what's 7 times negative 5?
One that doesn't care and one spoiler.
And I'm done. Did we get the same thing? We did.
For that is a math lab answer. THCC.
Are there like
Yep.
terms?
Because I was gonna say it and then I realized there are people that aren't finished.
2x4 minus 10x cubed plus 7x squared
I
minus
got it right.
35x.
That box.
I already got it right.
Oh.
Same thing.
Well. Foil is just confusing
Also
because
got
when
it
it
right.
says inner,
Foil is
when it
easier.
says inner, you think
Both of them are easy.
you think that we think inner because it's the inner one.
Oh, you have to think of it as first inner.
Yeah, the innermost one.
That's why we made that brick wall in between the two.
Yeah.
The innermost one.
I only had 3 foilers in first period, but honestly, by the time we get into multiplying binomials,
I get foil in my hand.
last year I only had 2 foilers in fourth, none in first, 3 in fifth.
I like foils.
I love foil. Foil is
Any
amazing.
foils down.
I just like foil. So easy.
Foilers usually see, like, and the numbers are in their brain. My boxers need to visualize, which most of us need visual math.
See, and that's why I'm gonna be good at geometry.
I hate geometry.
It sucks. If you're good at algebra, you're gonna be terrible at geometry.
A little bit, a little bit.
Suck at algebra.
Alright! No, you don't. You just don't want to do the outside work to make yourself better.
Yeah, Kylie.
But that's 95% of y'all. 5% do the outside work to make yourselves better. Alright! Are you ready? Raise your hand if you. I came around and looked, but I have no comprehension. Raise your hand if you're a foiler. How many foilers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you foiled on this one, are you gonna foil on the next, or are you gonna switch it?
I'm not foil.
Okay. How many boxers?
That's a lot of
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know it's a very hostile environment here. Alright. I'm gonna box it. 2x squared plus 7. X squared minus 5x. X squared times 2x squared. So 2 times 1 of the coefficients gives me 2. And then exponent would be 4. Even if you foiled, that should be your first term because when I multiply exponents, I add them together. Alright, then I'm going to get 7 times x squared gives me 7x squared. Yeah? Okay. 5x to the power of 1 times 2x squared would give me negative 10x cubed. And then if I have 7 times negative 5x, I have negative 35x.
You can put that one if you want.
I could put that one if I wanted to. So when I write them in the power, in the degree,
4, 3, 2, 1.
are there any like terms?
Nope.
No, there's not. If you foiled, did you get the same thing as me? If you boxed, did you get the same thing as me? If you didn't, do you see where I went wrong? Alright. Ready for another?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and knock out that one. That should be safe.
I'm so good.
Try boxing. Switch it up.
I'm a foiler for life. It's so easy.
Keep them on their toes.
It's not my fault. Yes, Paisley, you need to stop.
As she shakes the table more.
I have to erase.
That table's very shaky.
Yeah, Paisley, I can erase without shaking the table.
No,
Prove
sometimes
it.
you gotta erase harder. Well, because sometimes it doesn't erase easy.
Yeah, my eraser sucks. You gotta use the circular motion, Paisley.
Why circular? Who does the circle?
Kylie, people who don't shake tables. Really? Boom.
It doesn't make sense. I never like circle to erase.
Personally, I don't use pencils. The graphite grosses me out when it gets on my hands and smudges. I've always used pencils.
Exactly. That's
I'm
how
probably
I
gonna
did
start
this
using
week
pens, and I'm
because
just gonna get mine
somebody
out.
stole my last pen.
Yeah,
Probably Ridge. Ridge is always stealing things.
No, it was like in the middle. It was in the middle of broad daylight. I was reading my book.
Then how did you not catch the thief?
Yeah, Kylie.
Ooh. Ox is faster.
I was only yapping this, so.
Typical.
Very simple
Yeah.
to me. Are there any like
Not
terms?
even listening in.
We were talking very loudly. I don't know if you caught that.
Kylie was like yelling. I know, absolutely. That's just Kylie level.
One time some of the math tutors this year later they asked me, they were like, do you not care if kids use pen and pad? Do you not care what substitute use pen and here?
Why is it gonna substitute if you use
I think our answers are related to me.
And just strike and move on.
Yeah. It should be negative 1p plus 32.
Really? Or plus 1p minus 1p plus 32. We already showed it 32 because negative 1 would be 1 and there's 32 would be 1.
Yeah, I know. So I
Never mind.
okay. Well, you get 32 because of the subtract. So you got 32.
No, I thought you maybe got the actual like final answer.
Alrighty, what did you work it out to? I'm not gonna work it out.
4p squared plus 31p minus 8.
Do y'all agree?
Yeah.
You got negative 1p plus 32p, and then when we combine our like terms. Alright, you're gonna put this behind your yellow. I will post some add, subtract, and multiply IXLs today. Exponents have already been posted, and our test will be the 28th. So not next week, but the week after.
Okie dokie.
Sarah, do you just have a 3-day rest of your life? What's your first name?
Miss Miller.
Miss Miller. What's your second? You let it know.
Third English. I have bottom second.
That's not your hard class.
No, but we had like 3 assignments due in there.
Somehow, but I did.
I might have, but I didn't.
Can I put this in your office?
Ow!
And then take
When
the
you
roll
roll
off?
off.
Yeah, we owned it, so.
Do you want me to? We can make it a donut shape, and then you can just have it extra copy. Take a picture.
I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. Thank you.
That's how we fight with our words. She doesn't appreciate it.
Yeah. Because literally I had work due yesterday and he assigned 2 more assignments today.
Ow, my shoulders.
I was